Hello students, today we are going to study about periodic trends of the properties in the period about the elements. How we can recognize that any property is increasing or decreasing, or how it is behaving in the periodic table, means in the period or in a group of elements. So let's start. First of all, if we take about we talk about the nuclear charge. Because we know that elements are arranged in the increasing order of their nuclear charge. So nuclear charge means in the period also, when we go from left to right, nuclear charge increases, and in a group when we go from top to bottom. See, whenever we are talking about the periodic trends, then we will always talk about periods and groups. When we talk about periods, then we consider them from left to right. This is the, you can say, sequence where we take from left to right. And whenever we talk about the groups, in groups how elements behave, then we talk about top to bottom, top towards bottom. So if we as you can see here, that in periods, because the elements are arranged in increasing order of atomic numbers, so the nuclear charge increases in periods also and in the group also, top to bottom. Clear? The main property which we discussed, that is atomic size. The main property which we are going to study first, that is atomic size. Now, in general we have studied about the atomic size, that in periods from left to right, atomic size decreases because the number of shells remains same and the nuclear charge keeps on increasing, right? Nuclear charge keeps on increasing when we go from left to right. So what will happen, because the periods are same, so the nucleus that is positively charged will put more electrostatic force and attract the electrons with more force. So what will happen, that atomic size will decrease, right? Atomic size will decrease. But when we go from top to bottom, because we know that number of shells here increase, number of shells increase from top to bottom, and when the number of shells are increasing, they overcome the effective nuclear charge. How? Because when the number of shells are more, then the electron will be more far away, and as far the electron is there, the less electrostatic force is there in between nucleus and the electrons. Clear? So the atomic size will increase. So atomic size, what will happen to atomic size? The atomic size will increase. This is the general trend which we follow. The nuclear charge increases, atomic size decreases, and the number of shells increases. In group, the atomic size also increases. But how can we determine the atomic size? The atomic size is determined by the atomic radius. Okay, atomic radius of any atom. So how can we calculate atomic radius? Atoms are very small, you cannot see them. Okay, so it is very difficult to exactly measure the atomic radius. For that, we have concluded some, you can say, in a molecular form, the radius, the radii of the atom, to calculate the atomic radius of any particular atom. So let's study about those atomic radiuses. So basically we have four types of atomic, means four ways to calculate the atomic radii of any atom. Like, we know that atoms form combined by the covalent bonds. Okay, covalent bonds or ionic bonds. This generally we have studied. But first we will start with the crystal radius. What do we know by crystal radius? Crystal, by name, it is suggesting the particle. So if we consider that if we have a block of any solid, then in that solid there will be so many atoms packed very close to each other of the same type of atom. So if we can calculate the distance between two atoms, then we can calculate, then we say that this is the crystal. Okay, the atoms are filled in between in the block of that metal. So how can we calculate the radius of any atom in the solid form? By calculating crystal radius. Now the covalent radiuses. We know that elements are very reactive, most of the elements. So they are combined by the covalent bonds or ionic bond. First we will talk about covalent bonds. Covalent bonds are formed by sharing of electrons. Like we have studied that hydrogen and chlorine are bonded by covalent bond. Means hydrogen and chlorine share one electron of each other. When they share the electrons, as we know that electrons are not in some fixed orbits as we have studied in junior classes. Electrons are found in some places which we consider as electron clouds. Okay, so the exact position of electron we don't know. So how come we know that where is the electron is found? We calculate it by some, that you can say, probable place. For example, like if this is the you can say combination of hydrogen and chlorine, then somewhere here the common part here is the probability of the shared electron is more. And van der Waals radius, third point is van der Waals radius. Van der Waals radius is considered as the radius, or you can say it is calculated when some atoms are not combined. Means when they are not combined to each other, they are just closer to each other. Means like for example that monoatomic elements, like for example noble gases, helium, neon, argon, these gases do not combine with any other element or to the same atom also. Means these are the gases atom which remain free in the nature. So the van der Waals radius helps us to determine the radius of these atoms also. And last is ionic radius. As the name is suggesting, ionic radius is calculated by of those atoms which form ionic bond, which form charges, ions. Okay, so let's start study in the detail about all these radiuses. The first type of crystal radius is crystal radius. The second name of this radius is also known as metallic radius. Okay, why this is called metallic radius? Because we talk about the crystals, and crystals are found in the mostly in the metal in the solid form. So if we consider that in a block we have some atoms combined together, they are very closely packed, they cannot move. Okay, so what we do, the distance between the two nucleuses, the distance between the nucleus of two atoms, if we can calculate, because the atom is very small. But if we take two atoms, then the distance will be little bit more. So it is easy to calculate the distance between two atoms, nucleuses of the two atoms. Okay, means center also we can say. So the nucleus, if we consider it as small d, okay, or small dm, because it is metallic radius or crystal radius, small dm. So the crystal radius will be equal to the dm upon 2. Because the same atoms are there, so the radius is, the distance is divided in half. Okay, like for example, if I make the bigger diagram, if it is considered as two atoms, then from center the distance of this point and this point is dm. So half is of this atom and half is of this atom. Okay, in this way we can calculate the crystal radius of metallic atoms. The second type of radius is covalent radius. Covalent compounds are formed by the combination of the atoms. See, covalent compounds are formed by single bond, double bond and triple bond also. But here when we calculate the covalent radius, we consider only same type of atoms. For example, like if we take two hydrogen atoms, the distance between their nucleuses, okay, so if we calculate, because this is the hydrogen molecule, hydrogen atom is very small, but when it combines with other atom, it forms molecule which is bigger, the size is bigger. So we have some techniques, spectroscopic techniques. One of them is very famous, like X-ray diffraction technique, which is used to calculate the distances of the very molecular level of the atoms and molecules. So the distance means the radius of covalent radius will be equal to, if we consider this distance as d, then d upon 2. the covalent radius of hydrogen will be d upon 2. Now this covalent radius is additive in nature also. Additive in nature, by this I mean, see, additive in nature means, for example, like if we know by some techniques we calculate the radius of hydrogen, and like chlorine gas also we know. So if about hydrogen we have calculated the distance. Now if we consider it is R1. Now by the same method, if we calculate the radius of that chlorine atom, and it is R2. Okay, by the same method, the distance between the two atoms chlorine Cl2, the R2 will come. Then the intermolecular distance of the nucleus of the hydrochloric formula, or you can say the molecule, means hydrogen chloride HCl is formed by combination of hydrogen and chlorine. So if we have to calculate the distance between the hydrogen and chlorine nucleus in the molecule of hydrogen chloride, then it will be equal to R1 plus R2. Am I clear? Note it down. Third type of atomic radius is van der Waals radius. Now it is a very important and interesting type of radius. Like when we know that, I have told in previous videos that when we means the atoms of some elements do not combine. For example, like helium, we know that the helium atoms remain in nature in the free state, they do not combine. So if we consider two helium atoms, so how can we know that helium atom they do not combine? So the distance, the minimum distance at which the two helium atoms can be placed, means this minimum distance, if we consider is d, if we calculate the distance d of two these and you can say monoatomic elements which do not combine with each other. Okay, so the minimum distance of helium atoms, and then why we are considering it minimum distance? Because after that the same nuclear charges will start repulsion. Okay, so the atom will not be placed together after that distance. So this is the minimum distance at which two helium atoms can be combined. So the van der Waals radius will be equal to this d distance upon 2. It will be equally distributed. Now you can see that all three distances are calculated approximately in the same way. Okay, but the position were discovered. So let's just compare them, all these three. This is van der Waals radius. About crystal radius, the first one, that is crystal radius, that was calculated when two atoms were placed very near to each other. And the second was covalent radius. So covalent radius was calculated when two atoms were combined together by covalent force. So if anybody asks that which of all these three radiuses are greater than each other or smaller, how can we compare them? So always remember that when the atoms are combined with each other, some distance is merged with the atoms, right? Electron clouds are merged, so it will be the smallest, means covalent radius is smallest. After this comes crystal radius, when the atoms are placed next to next. Okay, so crystal radius. And the last one is van der Waals radius, because this is a distance which is calculated when the atoms are placed at some minimum distance. Okay, so this is the relation of all the three type of radiuses which we were studying here. This is the relation. Next one is ionic radius. See, when the ions are formed, means when any atom loses or gains electron. If we consider any atom P and we say that we have taken an electron out from this atom, then what will happen? This atom will become the cation, that will get the positive charge. Similarly, if this atom has given one electron, then it will form the negative charge. Okay, so here we are considering two atoms or one atom when it is given an electron or taken out an electron, then it forms cation or anion. So always remember, it is very easy to understand that cation is formed by taking out the electron. When electron is taken out, the nuclear charge will increase, and what will happen? The atomic size will always decrease. Okay, and nuclear charge is increasing. In the opposite way, in the anion form, when anions are formed, then it is given by the electron. When an electron is put in the atom, okay, then what will happen? The nuclear charge will decrease and the electrons are showing the repulsion in the same orbit. So what will happen? The atomic size will increase than the normal neutral atom. Okay, so if we write the radiuses of the same atom in cation form, anion form and neutral atom, then this will be the sequence that cation will be the less radius than the normal atom and the anion will be the having the greatest radius in all. Why we have not considered these three with the this ionic radius with the previous radiuses, crystal radius, covalent radius and van der Waals radius? Because there we take only atoms, okay, neutral atoms. But in ionic radius we consider the cations and anions. So this is the ionic radius. Now the next very important topic related to the ionic radius is the isoelectronic ions. What is isoelectronic ion? See, the same thing which we have here. If I say that an atom, let's erase it off. Okay, the relation which we are going to study now, this is not related to atomic radius. The isoelectronic ions. What are isoelectronic ions? So see, isoelectronic means same type of number of electrons. Okay, let's see with the example, you will understand easily. Sodium has atomic number 11. Sodium has atomic number 11. So if we take out one electron from the sodium, it will become sodium plus one electron is taken out. Right now we are not writing the atomic numbers. If any magnesium atom loses 2 electrons, as we know it has the 2 electrons in the valence shell, and similarly aluminium atom loses 3 electrons and forms aluminium. Now here the atoms are releasing different number of electrons, but what is common here? We know that sodium has atomic number 11, magnesium has 12 and aluminium has 13. So if sodium has lost 1 electron, the left electrons are 10 remaining electrons. Magnesium has total 12 electrons. If 2 are lost, it will be equal to again 10. And aluminium has lost 3 electrons, it also will be equal to 10. Now what is common? The left out number of electrons are same, but the atomic charge of the atoms is same. Means the number of protons in sodium is 11, the number of protons in magnesium is 12 and number of protons in aluminium is 13. So who has the more effective nuclear charge? Of course aluminium. So here the ions these are called isoelectronic ions because they contain the same number of electrons left out in them. So who will be having the greatest size, atomic size? Definitely which has the least nuclear charge, and that is sodium here. So the size will be like this: sodium plus is greater than magnesium plus 2 is greater than aluminium plus 3. Keep this thing in your mind that this relation is not considering with any group or period. Whenever any ion is given, if the same number of electrons are left, then we can apply this relation in those kind of ions which are known as isoelectronic ions. Note it down.